The topic is self-growth, and to me self-growth is about developing and continuing to adjust oneself in such a way that no matter what happens in life, no matter what life throws at you, you will always stay in control. To me, self-growth is important because it has allowed me to learn the foundations on which I now live my life on. Because prior to that, I had no foundations. I was just kind of like a young kid, having fun, having a good time. Life was just happening how it was, and I wasn't thinking too much about what the consequences could be of that. So there came a point where I had to deal with some life situation things where, where all of us do at some point in life. So I want to share a little bit of my journey, how it started and where I'm at now. Looking back, my self-growth really started in high school because at that time, that was like the high of my life. Everything was just going perfect. Everything was working out. Basketball was going really well. We put Lemont basketball on the map. We ended up winning conference championship my junior year. So see, at that time I was getting a lot of recognition for basketball. My goal was to go Division I, and in that moment in time it seemed like things were really working out great. So here comes my senior year. It's time to pick a school, and I have no Division I offers. I only had JUCO and Division III. I ended up going JUCO because at that time I thought that was the best decision for me. I thought that was my route to go to Division I. And I ended up going to Texas to a JUCO school. See, the thing is that I never shined away from parties. I enjoyed having a good time outside of basketball, whether that was high school, that was in college, but I never let that interfere with practices or me skipping workouts or anything like that. That was never the case. No matter what I did the night before, you'd always find me in the gym working out the next morning. So my first year in college, that was like my first time kind of living on my own, really. No parents around. I was making my own decisions. I had the total freedom to do whatever I want. You want to go to classes, go to classes. You don't, that's okay. As long as you got your grades up to where you can play. And to me, that was a completely new experience. And I must admit, my decisions weren't always the best. So I spent 2 years in JUCO. I never got a Division I offer. I did go Division II for a year, but that was really an unpleasant experience. Not that it was a bad school, it was just like I was at a point in my life where just like things were really starting to come down. And that year I had 2 back-to-back injuries. I had 2 surgeries. So by that time I'm already like trying to like figure out, okay, what is going on within my life? And it wasn't about 4 years later where I really just fully immersed myself into this whole self-growth, self-development path. Because what happened was, I've shared this in one of my previous videos also, 4 years later go by, it's the summer, at that time I'm married, I just signed my contract to play in Lithuania's first league, and right before I head out for preseason, my wife at that time decides that she wants to separate and get a divorce. So we separate, I head out to Lithuania, I start preseason, and within 3 weeks, the coach comes up to me and tells me that the team, the managers of the team, want to let me go. it was kind of funny because it was a very similar situation at my Division II school. And what I noticed was that it was a repeating cycle. So coming from high school where everything was just going perfectly, then to go into college where things started to slowly come down, and then by junior year really down, and then I'm already playing professional, and then I go through that. I mean, it was just like there was just so much happening in such a short period for me where like I didn't know how to deal with all of that. There's a lot of different kind of thoughts in my head. So I was like, the only way that I can get through this is if I decide to like help myself, you know? And that's when I realized that we all deal with so many different things, but very few actually know how to process all of that consciously. So once I started educating myself on topics like psychology, topics like relationships, spirituality, emotional states, I learned that we're not taught how to express ourselves and how to deal with like the different emotions that we have, with different psychological states, like how to understand that, how to label that, how to express that. For like the next 3 years, I just fully devoted my time outside of basketball to really understand that like psychological state. Why do we make the decisions that we do? And like I said, like I found out that everything that has happened in my life before that, I didn't have a concrete like foundation that I could like build my life on. It was just, everything was just happening so fast, and it was chaotic. And that's when I was like, all right, well, now I can take all of that and mold it into how I want my life to be now. And so I'm just so grateful for everything that happened to me the way that it happened, because it was those experiences that triggered me to really dive deep within myself and like understand why things were happening the way they were. So now I'm 5 years into this, you know, self-growth path, and it's honestly been incredibly transformational. I changed my diet, I gave up alcohol, and you know, some of my friends have noticed like, dude, you are different. Like, yes, I am, because life is about that. It's about, you know, it's about evolution, it's about growth, it's about always changing yourself. And like I said in the beginning, it's always about adjusting and making yourself better. So now I have a loving, harmonious relationship with an incredible person. I'm still playing basketball.
Come on, baby. Yes!
And I'm discovering new things within myself, new things that I'm passionate about, new things that I love and enjoy doing. And it's all because I took the time to really go in deep within myself and lay the foundation that was needed to be there. I want to leave you off with one of my favorite quotes by Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor. And here, let me just read it to you. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way.